Hello, welcome to this video of the solar eclipse in Libra 2024 for October 2. So on October 2, we have a very significant astrological event that marks the pinnacle of this eclipse season. Because this season is about the black moon, which is going to be conjunction the moon and the sun during the eclipse. This happens at 10 degrees of Libra, and the black moon Lilith tells us a lot about what this is going to be. At the same time, Mercury at 11 degrees of Libra will be also joining that whole club. And this eclipse will be squaring Mars. Now I will explain exactly what I think of this eclipse, what has been happening prior, and what will happen afterwards, and what is the theme of this month of October, as we're now approaching the beginning of a new chapter. Now that we have autumn, we can expect things to shift quite significantly. Of course, we had the autumn equinox recently, so you've already been through a shift, but it seems like business is not going to be concluded and finished until this eclipse concludes. So therefore, the eclipse is like the closing of a cycle, it's the finishing of a project. And what it is about is really, of course, Libra. And Libra needs to be understood. You also need to understand Lilith, to understand Mercury, how these things play together in this conjunction. Now, first of all, a solar eclipse. What is that? The sun, that's why it's the solar eclipse, is conjunction the south node of the moon. And the south node represents your past, your foundation, the ground to stand on. The sun is a malefic. It burns through the ground. So it can cause irritation or the impulse to act. It illuminates and reveals problems with our foundation, what is wrong with it, so we can succeed to burn it down, to destroy it, to heal it. And the moon, well, the moon is your subconscious. It's your mental health, your mind. So the foundation you stand on will affect your mind very heavily, because the sun also burns through the mind. That is why we call it an eclipse. Not just physically and astronomically, but astrologically, eclipse means the darkening. The darkening of you and how you feel. For the light of the sun to burn through that darkness is to make the darkness so clear, so strong, so bright, you can't escape it. You can't outrun it. The darkness is all-consuming. So therefore, a significant darkness in your life is being revealed, and you want to clear the darkness now. Of course, in what area of life it will happen depends on where 10 degrees of Libra occupies in your natal chart, what house is it in. For example, if it's your fourth house, like me, because I'm a Cancer rising, the later degrees, fourth house means it's in my home. So I have to make repairs in my home. I have to change things around in my home because it's negatively affecting my mental health, and I need to clear that foundation from the dust, so to speak. And also, because it's in Libra, Libra shows you what outside influences and what energy is behind all this. Where Libra is about appearances, superficiality, how things look on the surface. It's to please and appease, to charm, to coerce. It's to trade, to buy or to sell. So Libra is about the contract, which you have to sign. There could be business arrangements, agreements or disagreements of somebody, arguments about justice, about something that needs to be repaid in kind, to be fair, to have a good deal. And that good deal has to happen for you, because if it doesn't, it's going to be very destructive for your mental health. That's why the sun is your comfort zone, your confidence, to succeed in Libra, to succeed with a deal, because your mind depends on it. Your mind is your happiness. It's the moon. That's why it's an eclipse. But the south node, the foundation you stand on, why is it in Libra? Because that's what we're leaving behind. We're standing on a rotten foundation. A foundation that is just not good enough. And because all of this is conjunction Black Moon Lilith, well, Lilith is going to show you the corruption. And once you see the corruption for what it is, it's inescapable, when the solar eclipse hits you, it's like, close the bars, barricade yourself behind doors. That's actually what the Indians used to do. The Indians used to be having this suspicious practice that you should stay indoors during an eclipse, because if you go out there, something bad is going to happen. Because something bad does happen during the eclipse, that's the whole point. So they're not wrong. But just because you're inside, in your indoors, doesn't mean the bad thing isn't going to haunt you. It is going to haunt you. And it's coming to haunt you through your relationships. Something that you've been avoiding or bypassing because you are in fear. Lilith is the dark zone. Lilith is the deepest, darkest secret, what we are afraid of. We shine the light, right? The sun. And our subconscious mind is so heavily affected, we are embracing chaos. And through that chaos, in which your life is now experienced through, you have to find a way to take back control. Because Lilith is the feminine, the force of Kali, destruction and creation, to separate yourself from the ego. Which is actually the sun. Believe it or not, in astrology, the sun represents the soul, but the soul burning through the ego. The ego is in Libra. That means it's your relationship, it's the way you look at it, the way you handle the contract, your attachment to the superficiality, to how things look, to you, to control. Because that's Lilith's shadow. How the patriarchal control system, how the masculine wants to control Lilith. And that's the foundation we stand on, where we have been controlled. We've been giving our power away over and over. So there's an imbalance, Libra, of power in our relationships. Therefore, you need to take the power back, but to do so, you must reveal yourself. You must come out into the open. Because you see all of this energy with Lilith, the south node. It means Lilith is on the south node. Lilith is our past that we've built. We've based our relationships recently, in the last month, maybe 2 months, on that Lilith. On our independence that we fight for so fiercely, because there's something we're afraid of, there's something we're avoiding. Because that will be most people. Of course, it doesn't have to be a person, because not everybody is going to deal with a person at this time. It could just simply be something that you're afraid of about yourself. Something facing in yourself. Of course, that is what it's about anyways, right? So whatever you have been building, there's something rotten, something, it needs to be replaced. But it's like you're resisting, Lilith is kind of, we detached. Like we don't give a shit, like we don't care, like we say, it's just gone. Just wash it away, hope for it to be over. But it's not getting over unless you take action. Lilith's shadow is passivity. Because Lilith's shadow is Eve. And why is it important to talk about shadows? Well, because that's what astrology is really here for. And if you're not using it for that, then get out of here, perhaps. Because Lilith, the only problem is the shadow. The only problem is what's holding you back from being truly free. And it's always going to be Eve. The collective is going through a little dark night, where we have to meet Eve inside ourselves. We've been submitting, we've been giving our power away to the force of what? something that promises us control, predictability of a situation. But that predictability has made us stagnant, like a swamp, like Pluto. Because Lilith is very Plutonian, so there will be a Plutonian relationship separated from many people at this time. There could be many separations again for the last time before Libra South Node goes into Virgo South Node, which will happen in January or February 2025. So this is a cycle that is now being finished because we've started a 6-month cycle in April 2024 during the Chiron eclipse. Chiron was at 90 degrees of Aries, conjunction the Sun, conjunction Mercury, and conjunction the Moon. And 6 months of dealing with our wounded warrior, our wounded aggression, where we're not allowed to stand up for ourselves, where we are called a narcissist for pushing a boundary, setting a structure, defending our own will, which we need to actualize if we want any success, any balance to be achieved. But that balance is rotten when the South Node is in Libra. For that whole period of time since August 2023, all the relationships have been under the microscope. And that's why any relationships you started within that year, the vast majority doomed to fail. Doomed to fail, programmed to fail, predestined to be destroyed. Because it is about embracing Aries. Your will, yourself, your spark to dominate, to take over, to be selfish, honestly, directly. So, the moment you bring out the truth, you are really yourself, they call you a narcissist. They call you an abuser. Meanwhile, they've been abusing that whole time, creating a Lilith situation in your relationships. A situation where somebody is avoiding accountability, somebody is avoiding retribution, avoiding justice, because they're so afraid of your aggression. Because the North Node is in Aries, so we are not comfortable with our aggression. There will be situations, even people who are generally having Aries placements, who have a lot of fire, even there, we will be tested. So also look at where the North Node occupies in your natal chart. The North Node shows you where you are tested to step it up, to be more Aries, to be part of the winner squad. Remember how I talk about the full moons, the new moons? There's always winners. There's always losers. In a world full of evil, full of good, but mostly evil. And the evil that you see is because it's the losers you see. It's because the losers have taken over this world. A loser is somebody who's not in control of their life, who has allowed their ego, aka their conditioning, their past life, their shadow, to take control. Because they're in self-preservation, they're in scarcity, they're in the mindset of, I have to do all of these things, which I don't really want to do, but I have to do them to get what I really want. You see how it works? It's twisted. It's twisted. We do things that are not really us to get to a place where we can be us, which of course is doomed to fail. Because the energy behind it is being fake, being false. And that is also typical for Libra South Node. The foundation itself is fake, usually superficial. We try to maintain balance with everybody. We try to maintain our connections, to keep people around, to keep holding on to something. Not for something deep, not for something intimate. It's not deep, Libra. Libra is certainly not deep. It's the law, the karma, the justice that we seek, but they don't want it. Somebody doesn't want it. Somebody doesn't want to take accountability. And that is why we cannot have intimacy. unless we're really honest about where we are wrong, where we are avoiding confrontation with our shadow. Because that confrontation, that conflict, that Martian energy is not exactly in a good position right now, during this eclipse. Because the depositor of a North Node, Mars, is in Cancer. What a shit show, It reminds me, it gives me vibes of that Mercury retrograde period last month, where it was Jupiter conjunction Mars in Gemini. Remember that complete shit show? That was horrible. That was just horrendous, yeah? And when Mercury was retrograde during that time, it was just a nightmare. Like a nightmare you're happy to get out of. Well, now we are here with a North Node still in Aries, wanting to assert itself, but Mars in Cancer. Who you gonna assert yourself? Like I don't think that's gonna happen for a lot of people. Most people will hide in their shell or try to avoid confrontation. And we don't really feel like we want to do much. We just want to fortify our foundation, just in self-preservation mode. And if that wasn't good enough for you, well, the solar eclipse itself is, of course, squaring Mars. And that square, it's almost like, oh, you want to be in your Lilith? You want to be independent, free, doing things on your own? But do it without the aggression. Do it without me. That is what Mars Square is kind of saying, Like, you want your justice, you want your retribution, you want your accountability, but without me. Without the help of the masculine. When the masculine is now needed more than ever to protect the feminine, to stand up for her, right? That's actually what Mars is supposed to do in Cancer. To stand up for our feelings, our needs, that are being neglected, that are being ignored. That is why Mars in Cancer is in detriment, because what are you fighting for? How are you feeling? Something that is not acknowledged. Something that is demonized by society. No, you're just in your feelings. Just wait until it's over. Just be in the waiting room. Just be more patient. If you're being patient, you're being played. They're playing mind games on you. They're manipulating you. And Mars in Cancer, very passive-aggressive. Why are you passive-aggressive? Well, if it wasn't so hard to be aggressive, maybe you wouldn't have to be passive-aggressive. Did you ever think of that? Did you ever think of any person who is natal Mars Cancer and like, I want to be aggressive, but I don't think I can because I'm in a madhouse. Because I'm surrounded by avoidance. I'm surrounded by narcissists. I'm surrounded by abusers. Just trying to push down my will, so my will is in the crap, in a shell. To assert your will? Yeah, that is really the theme here. It's like you have to force yourself. If you want to be part of the winner squad, all right, as I call it. Of course, I'm always in the winner squad. Then you need to force yourself to do what you want to do, to get what you want, to fight for it. Because your ego will try to stop you when Mars is in Cancer. Your ego will be like, no, that is not safe. That is not strategic. That is not nice. That is not predictable. Well, do the unpredictable. Do the not so nice. So now the feminine is evil, right? We villainize, we demonize. It's also interesting that Mars is not only in Cancer, but 15 degrees on October 2. 15 degrees is conjunction the dog, the big dog, Sirius, the protector, the guardsman, the sentinel, the security guard. So Mars says, I need to keep this place secure. I need to fortify my position because somebody is threatening my foundation. Somebody is trying to get on my nerves. And when this is square that eclipse, how does this actually play out? When we need to be guarded, we are feeling defensive, and yet we're not allowed to defend ourselves. So somebody is playing the victim, somebody's gaslighting themselves, gaslighting other people, somebody's manipulating, lying. All of these schemes are playing out as we speak. And of course, it's not just the eclipse, right? It's 2 weeks prior and 2 weeks after. And that's what you have to understand about how an eclipse works. Eclipse is not an event, it's a season. It's a month, a 28-day cycle. It already started with the full moon in Pisces on September 17, which was 2 weeks ago almost. So now we're approaching this eclipse in Libra, or Libra as I like to call it, because always somebody is lying when Libra is involved. That is the whole point, right? Somebody is saying things that are not true, and you're like, wait a second, I remember this differently. Wait a second, do you know what the facts are? And somebody's avoiding the facts. Somebody doesn't want to hear the facts. You know, that's Black Moon Lilith. Somebody doesn't want justice to happen. So we are like, they are not cooperating, and we can't get what we want from them. They're not going to acknowledge us, not going to care about us. So we feel a little bit alone. This is a bit of a lonely eclipse, I feel like. Very interesting. And how this works as well, you know, if I look at other transits during this time, Venus in Scorpio, the depositor of the South Node eclipse, is in detriment. I mean, you know, shit show aspects. Because Scorpio, that is where the suppression is happening. That is where secrets are being kept. Games are being played, like chess, you know. That is Scorpio. Venus is your relationship. Venus is your money. Venus is like, I don't know about this investment because I don't want to give them any power. To have a fruitful relationship at this time is to be in power. But to be in control, to be in power means you have to move silently, quietly, in a sneaky way. And that is just like, it's not the foundation for a relationship, is it? And that is why Venus is in detriment in Scorpio. And now the Venus Scorpio people come, but this is not how I am. It's the aspect, it's not you. Venus Scorpio, that is how it operates. Oh, that's not me. I don't care if it's not you. Like, go somewhere else, study astrology, and leave me alone. So Venus Scorpio, we feel very vulnerable in our relationships. We feel like, I don't know, I don't want to tell them that there's something wrong with me, or that I need something from them, because if I need something from them, am I not giving them power over me? Yet that is exactly what you need to leave behind. Do you understand? Lilith, eclipse. Lilith eclipse means, you know, I think I need to be the bitch. I need to be the witch. I need to be in control. I need to be independent. Needing something from you, this is not my foundation. But if we stay in this place of stagnation, then we're going to stay there forever, like not really progressing. So it basically tells you that the Libra eclipse is not progressing the black moon. It is not furthering your goals. It's not helping you. What is helping you, however, is to reveal what Lilith is about, and maybe to use her energy more constructively, more aggressively, indirectly. In Libra, you know, we have rejection. We've been trying so hard to maintain the balance, and you know what? We're done with the balance. There's not going to be any balance. There's not going to be any compromise. There's not going to be any negotiation. Because if there is, it's going to work against us. is going to be bad. It's going to be self-sabotaging. So it's a very, bit of a Plutonian eclipse. But energy can feel very lazy, can be very slow, for this Libra energy with Mars in freaking Cancer is like a procrastination 101, Like you're thinking, oh, it's a new moon, it's an eclipse. Shouldn't I start something up? You should finish something, but certainly not start. Because if you start anything, you're not gonna be likely to succeed, if you ask me. Because the motivation is not there. It's self-preserving, self-defending. So all the energy is being pulled back to take care of the body, to take care of the self, to take care of the emotions, which are pretty heavily under siege. And this is not going to change, Wolf planet being in retrograde, and not going to change anytime soon. You have Neptune, Saturn, and Pisces in retrograde, Chiron retrograde, Pluto retrograde, Jupiter soon retrograde, Uranus retrograde. Like, if everything is a motherfucking retrograde, life tends to become a spectator sport. That is really something. I remember this really nice phrase, this is just so juicy. Life is a spectator sport. Like you're just watching the clock, the cosmic clock, hoping, hopefully these transits are over soon because I'm losing my patience. Yet it seems like patience is the name of the game. This is just like catapult me into the next season. Because if you ask me, Scorpio season can't be here soon enough. With all this Libra energy, now Mercury is in Libra. Oh, we need to talk about Mercury as well. Yeah? Because Libra is just like, just not doing anything. Yeah? It's just a scale. It's just an object. It doesn't do anything. But it is about the law. It's about what's right and wrong. It's about justice. How do we get justice? Retaliation. Reactive, not active. But sometimes you have to actively be reactive. You have to force yourself to respond. And that's something that Libra can really struggle with, It's a cardinal sign. It's supposed to enforce the law, to execute justice, to be the karma delivery system. But usually it isn't. Usually it's just a complete shit show, just lying to people, manipulating them, watching. Like, yes, my dear, I love you, and then cheating with somebody. That is Libra literally most of the time. And that is when you're dealing with a loser. So don't be part of that squad, right? Now, Mercury. Mercurius, Hermegistius, or whatever the fuck. Conjunction Black Moon and Lilith means our thinking, our speaking. Lilith. Lilith means detachment, means occult study. Reflection on, did they really mean that, or are they lying to me? Did they just gaslight me? I have in my natal chart Mercury conjunction Lilith. So let me tell you what it's like. Well, Mercury, first of all, what are we repeatedly thinking about over and over? Lilith is discomfort. It's uncomfortable. It's like where your ego doesn't want to be. So we're thinking about where your ego doesn't want to be. Transformation, death, destruction, letting go of the shadow that you have now finally identified, and you recognize it exactly for what it is. So you need to speak about it. Because if you don't, loser squad. Mercury Lilith is like the truth teller. It's like, you know what, this is not just. But the moment I speak justice into being, they call me the bad guy. So I'm not allowed to point out the elephant in the room. And it can also be retaliation, like if somebody mistreated you, if somebody's been avoiding communication. Lilith's shadow in Mercury is mutism. Not speaking, not doing anything. The loser squat, you know what I mean? And the winner squat is, I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just going to say it. So it's when you let the lunatic become a reality. Because if a lunatic isn't becoming part of the speech, then the Lilith cannot be actualized. And you get stuck in your thinking. You get trapped. Because the Lilith is the spirit of torture, imprisonment. Like, oh, I need to think about the same thing over and over again, but I'm not really doing anything. I'm just watching. Detachment. It's a program. That's called roboticism. And that's what we usually see with Lilith aspects in general. And that is the shadow, what can happen. Like, you're just watching somebody gaslighting you, or you're just watching yourself being anxious, being unsure, thinking about it, but you're not doing anything. You're not sending that message that needs to be said. Knowing is going to lead to a negative reaction because Lilith is the big destroyer. Kali! Chop! Like Medusa, behead. So, whatever you say during this eclipse, somebody's, it's going to roll. Somebody's head is going to be on a, like how we say, pikes. Because Libra, the justice system needs to be delivered, but they don't want to listen. Sometimes, in people who have Lilith conjunction Mercury in the natal chart, for example, can be issues with the hearing, issues with the ears. Sometimes they can make excellent listeners, can also be the opposite, where they're just listening but never speaking. Or they're neither listening nor speaking, they're just trapped in their mind, overthinking. And we don't want that. What are we thinking about? Well, maybe a contract, a relationship, just to try to find balance in our life. And that's where the scale is becoming a bit of a control freakery, because Libra is all about, how can I maintain equilibrium? While Lilith is, how do I break the equilibrium? So we have opposing forces, and you need to, how do you do both things at once? Don't try it. Just do one of them to make your choice. Choose what works for you. Anyways, so interesting. These transits, the fact that this eclipse is exactly on the left, I haven't really heard anybody really talk about it. Eclipse. Well, I've been saying this whole time that every time a Lilith transit happens, something's going down. Something's being destroyed, and somebody's breaking free from something here. But to break free from something is to first be trapped in something. And that is why often, as time like this, it's a time of being trapped for most people in one situation or another, depending where Libra occupies your natal chart. Again, it's the house. Look at the house. That's where you feel trapped. The spirit of torture, the spirit of imprisonment, the spirit of rape, destruction, like Lilith. And what does Lilith want? Lilith is the initiation into the tree of death, is the initiation into a path of destroying the ego. Because the ego is attacking you, is destroying you, is making it so you can't just live your life. It's like you always get distracted by something where you have to suppress yourself, or you have to wait for your turn. And that makes Lilith very angry. And that's why, rage. To chop, to cut the cords with that which binds you, which is the attachment, which is the moon. And Lilith is the dark side of the moon. The feminine taking back what is rightfully hers, to claim back her power, her energy, her life force, to say, you know what, you don't get to control me anymore. You can't control chaos. So it's about connecting to the dark and making the dark work for you. Because it's from the dark that light is created. But if you are operating primarily in the light and you're not even looking at the dark, you're not even going there, you're just trying to stay out of its way, loser squad. Loser squad, loser squad, loser squad. And then many people will be there because, you know, Lilith is what we demonize. It's what we love to vilify, to talk badly, to gossip. It's like, did you see that person being so comfortable with their shadows? Maybe we should shut them down so they're not so comfortable anymore. So we use guilt and shame to bring them back in line, back to the box. That's what society does to Lilith, to the feminine. When you are embracing your shadow, when you are integrating the demons, instead of running from them so they take over from the background like you're their pet, you're now making the demons your pets. And like Solomon in the story, he had control of 72 demons. In Islam, when you die, you'll have 72 virgins, 72 feminines, 72 demons, 72 servants of Lilith to serve Solomon, the Solomon, right? So the son of man, or what the fuck, to serve you, you must first bring those demons back into line, summon them, manifest them, use them, but ignore them, pretend they're not there, like, oh, it's all love and light here, it's all Libra here, we're all lying here. Shit show. Loser squad. Exorcism happens with Lilith. But the exorcism isn't about destroying the demons, it's about using them. Because if you don't use them, they're going to use you. Whatever you deny in yourself as a shadow, somebody's going to bring you to you, deliver you, a narcissist or an avoidant. Oh, I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to be needy. So now you attract somebody who's needy, so ridiculously needy, that if they ever admitted how needy they were to you, you would leave them immediately. You'd be like, oh my goodness, this is disgusting. This is filthy. What have I attracted? Lilith, Libra. What relationship am I dealing with? Lilith, Libra, like, oh no, this is just like the trash. Take it out. With a low self-esteem, Venus, Scorpio. And you look at them like, so if you're so needy and I'm into you, what does it say about me? How did we match up? Maybe if you asked them to make you feel safe, instead of you trying so hard to make them feel safe, maybe then the tables are turned. Maybe then you make those demons your pets. And usually it's, avoidance, for example, domain of Lilith, what we avoid, right? They're very submissive types. They love to be whipped. So you need to do some whipping. But if you don't, if you say, no, that's not me. I'm not into revenge. I'm not into exploiting people or harming people. Then you shall be exploited. And you shall be harmed. Because you make it a shadow. You say, no, that's not me. No. You stay in the shadows. Predator. You stay in the shadows. Demon. You stay in the shadows. Greed. Envy. Jealousy. Lust. Because that couldn't possibly be me. And then jealousy, lust, envy, greed is all you see in the other person. And you're like, Why do I keep attracting these narcissists? Well, maybe because you're trying so hard to push them away. Well, could be telling something about you, how you are refusing to integrate what needs to be integrated. If you were just integrating it, it wouldn't need to come. Maybe. It's not to victim blame. It's not to say, oh no, you are so bad, you deserve it. No, no, no. You didn't deserve any of the treatment that happened to you. It's just like, I don't like the mirror. The mirror is ugly. So I'm going to pretend it's not there. Lilith, the deepest, darkest secret. Medusa. I see the mirror. I don't like it. But instead of beheading the ego, now you're beheading yourself. Now it's your head on the silver platter. Why? Because you gave it to them. You said, I'm not that lusty predator. I am not that predator that I am. Because the feminine is a predator. The feminine is a snake. The feminine is dark. It's a force of the negative. It's not bad. It's just negative force, like a black hole. It sucks you. And when it gives birth to you, from dark, we give light. But don't look in the dark, reject the dark. No, 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 no. Then the dark should come to you to wake you up. That's the Kundalini, right? The snake rising up to bite you. So you say, wait a second. I didn't sign up for this. Well, nobody said it would be pretty. Nobody said it would be nice. Nobody said it would all be orderly and very predictable and very stable. No, no, no. Your ground has to shake. And that's the eclipse. Shake, 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 shake until you realize, well, you know what? I don't think I want to be here anymore. I am out! But where are you going? Are you just running? Are you just avoiding? Are you just escaping? Are you just fleeing? Or are you running towards something instead of away from something? What are you running towards is what's important. And you need to run towards the North Node like there's no tomorrow. You need to run towards that winner place. You need to be part of a winning squad. Come on. That Aries point, baby. That Mars in energy. That aggression. That malefic separation. That war. That conflict. You need to go towards it. And then you need to be able to fight for your position. And just like, you know, just be the villain in the story, basically. Lilith is kind of like, we have been the villain for so long, we're tired of being the villain. We just want peace, we just want things to be nice. But it's not gonna be nice. If you want it to be nice, need to go through Lilith. The initiation into the tree of death, not life. Death, because in death you have freedom. Lilith, leaving the Garden of Eden behind to free herself from the grip of Yaldabaoth, the ego, Saturn, the structure of this realm. Lilith says, you know what? Your structure is just a shit show. And I'm leaving. I'm not going back to the way I was before. Because you said, oh, you'll have your garden. You'll be nice. You'll be provided for. I don't want to be provided for. I want to provide for myself. So therefore, it's going to be issues around independence, how to break free from enmeshment, from bondage towards something. And it's interesting to look at also the position of Saturn. It's been retrograding for a while there in Pisces. But Pisces is your mental health, is the state of you. What state are you in? Is it a state of calm, of peace, of tranquility? Or is it just chaos? Is it cortisol, adrenaline, and you're trying to take drugs to get away from those sensations which are haunting you because of the baggage? Pisces is that manipulation also, the lying, the scheming, the tricks that people play on you to try to gaslight you so you submit to a false reality, to an ideal based on the ego. The ego is Luciferian. It represents Lucifer. Lucifer is the light bringer. Lucifer says, do you look into the light, right? The light shines so bright. It's all good. It's all fun. It's all games, like a trickster. It's all pleasure. And then you say, you know what? It's not pleasure. It's torture. It's abuse. No. You can't say you're being abused. You can't say you're being trapped in this realm. You must fall in line. You must be happy about your imprisonment, because you need to be a slave. We can't just be in control of your body. We must be in control of your soul, of your mind. We need to brainwash you. We need to indoctrinate you, because you're going to resist us if you're unhappy. If you're irritated, if you're annoyed, if you're angry, you're going to resist our control. We can't have that. So we must convince you that it's your feelings that are the problem. That your feelings are just too intense, too dark, too negative. Those negative forces you must demonize. You must separate from. So the demons can really be in control. If you say, you know what, those demons, I don't need to deal with them. They're just illusions. Demons shall be in control of you. That's kind of how the devil works, isn't it? Devil's biggest trick is to convince you he doesn't exist. And then you realize, oh shit, the devil is within. And now he has conjured and summoned the devil without to make me see, to realize the initiation, to let it die, that old pattern, lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes, for empaths or whoever the fuck, who people pleases, or who was trying so hard to make everybody else happy, to make them feel good, to make them feel safe. But they didn't try to make you feel safe, because you didn't ask for it. Didn't ask for the support. You're Lilith on the South Node. You're like, I don't need support. I don't need the garden. I can be for the streets. So you get people who are for the streets, because that's what you're signing up for. That's what you're settling for. It's like, oh, okay, you want to play it that way, you shall have it then. So it's only when you are no longer happy about your situation that you can really be moved, it's just like poking at you. So then for the ego, the love is Kali. And Kali is this grotesque figure, this, like with heads and skulls around her, and everything's doom and gloom. That's the ego's perspective of the mother. Because the ego doesn't like the mother. The ego is afraid of the mother. Oh no, you want me to be destroyed? It's 4:04 p.m. at the clock. You want to cut me into pieces? You want to stop me from controlling your life? Oh, it's for your security. It's for your safety, right? This is like World War II, like it's for your safety. The ego says, for your safety. And then Kali says, no safety. Safety is comfort. The South Node, the foundation you stand on, it's a bit too safe now. And when it gets too safe, we get complacent. And that's just like the ego. It's just like, the ego likes to look at itself as Luciferian, as I'm so love and light, I'm so perfect, I'm so godlike. I am God, I am creation. No, bitch. You are the shit show. You are the chaos. You are the darkness. You are the demons. You are evil. And then, when you're no longer fighting it, like, okay, the evil is within. Now you bring the evil to me, I can recognize it. I can see it. Oh, I know what you are, predator. I know that when I feel like I'm being manipulated, oh, I actually am being manipulated. Oh, actually, you are manipulating me because I understand. Because if I was in scarcity consciousness, if I was in poverty, if I was for the streets, I would be doing the same. And that's what most people are, for the streets. So in most people, relationships are breaking down. And you're like, narcissism. I'm typing on my keyboard. Oh, avoidant attachment style. I'm typing again to figure out 30% of the human population is lunatic realm. So first I need to deal with a lunatic within before I have any chance of dealing with the lunatics around me. Like, come on, give me a break. Once you deal with the Looney Tunes in the Looney Bin inside of you, maybe then you stand a chance. And that is actually what it's about, isn't it? Damn, this is heavy energy, huh? My goodness. So now I'm checking comments. Pluto into Aquarius for the next 20 years. What am I going to think about that? I mean, it doesn't really mean anything to me. All that matters is what houses is occupied for me. Does it touch any of my points? You know, it's in my 7th house, Pluto. 7th house is relationships. Pluto says that raggedy ass stagnation swamp in your relationships. That's Pluto. So wherever Pluto is, I've recently been introduced to Lilith and I'm quickly learning my stumbling blocks can be healed. I'm wondering if vampire Lilith is the shadow of my conscious self, the fallen angel. Yes, of course. Lilith is a vampire. Lilith is the mistress of the night. It is a fallen angel. So first of all, if you look at the tree of life in the occult, that's the angelic realm. This Christ consciousness. But Christ is masculine. Christ is just yang, okay? It's light. And then you look at, the tree of death, Lilith tree, because Lilith is at the bottom, initiating you to go through that process of meeting your negative forces, the demons in your closet, the basement, the darkness. So in that Lilith realm, you're dealing with your shadows, you're dealing with your critters, your spiders, your cockroaches, your snakes. And then as you go through the tree of death, eventually you get to the realm of vampires. Because, first of all, Christ is connected to the heart. And the heart creates an energy field around your body. So that other people who come into contact with you, they get nourished by that energy field. But, here's the thing. Because the tree of life is an inversion of the tree of death is an inversion of the tree of life. So the inversion of the Christ is the Antichrist. And the Antichrist on the Lilith evolution of consciousness, that inverts your heart. So that energy field is pulled inside, so you become a black hole. And you become you become a sucking device. And that sucking device is a vampire. So to go through Lilith's initiation, you have to become a vampire. And then you'll be the predator. No longer the prey, bitch. So yeah, you become the fallen angel, right? That means you just become the feminine version of the Christ, the feminine version of the heart. Yeah. Because the dark hole, what is a black hole? That is a force of chaos that puts everything into it to transmutate it. Like poof, like gone. That's why Lilith is about transmutation of the dark into light, of positive into negative black hole, and negative, everything that they throw at you, everything they manipulate with, everything where they try to extract your loosh, you'll be the one doing the extracting. Okay, let's see comments. I actually like Lilith and embrace. Yeah, you need to embrace, because if you don't, suppression, yeah. Need to be happy with your shadow. Need to be happy with the mother. Yeah, to say yes to the mother, to say yes to Lilith, because if you don't, she can't nourish you, she can't feed you. You'll be forever trapped in the light. The light is actually a trap. It says a tree of life, where life is a form. A physical body is Saturn. Life is actually Saturn. It's the structure of this realm. The structure of this realm is Satan. It's actually the devil. It's a box. It's a corpse. Corpus Christi. Right? Christ. The Christ is a corpse. It's a corpse on the cross. Cross is Saturn, right? If you look at Saturn's symbol, it's a box. Right? The box is like your body, like a prison. And when you fold it up, you expand the box, it's a cross. And then you Christ on the cross. So is that what you want? No. So give me the Antichrist every day. Like, what is this shit? It's so funny, yeah? It's actually hilarious. But most people can't go that way because there's too much programming, too much conditioning. Right? Like, if you talk to other people about it, they're like, what is it? Like, what? Like, you Lucifer, you in league with demons now? Solomon took control of all 72 demons. Was there 72 negative forces, 72 virgins in the Quran, 72 feminines. He transmutated, 72 demons he transmutated to work for him, to become his pets. Right? So then you have sex with them when you go to heaven. With demons. And then you have the dark feminine, who's like a snake, like the Ouroboros, eating herself, eating her own children. That's what it says in the Bible, right? Lilith eats her own children. Because she's a black hole. Well, this ram is eating you every day. Do you know, right now, in this moment, you are being fed. You're like food. Right? And you're like, And this means you are transmutating this negative energy. And when you transmute negative energy, you turn it into positive energy. That means you turn the darkness into light, into electricity, which actually enhances your life force, makes you stronger. But if you want to be stronger, you need to go through Lilith. You need to go through the mother. You need to go straight to the source, to the dark, to the black hole from which you come from which all of the light that you see comes from. If you don't go straight to the source, codependency. Going to other people. Oh, let you give me life force. Oh, if I could just find the right man. If I could just get people on my side and get all the validation. When all you need to do is... when all you need is to go into chaos to connect to the source. Is chaos. It's not the masculine. The masculine is just like... It's like your doorkeeper. It's like I keep it all in check, right? I'm the manifested. I'm your will made manifested. But my will, my desire, my needs, right? My neediness, the left. Because my neediness is what is being rejected. They don't want to fulfill my needs. The world resists the left. So Lilith needs to pull out the whip. Lilith needs to... You see what I mean? And then they call her a demon. She's the mistress of demons. If you're embodying your Lilith, you're in control of the demons. The demons submit to you. The demons are scared of you. And if demons are scared of you, you are now a predator. You connect to the predator inside of you, to that aspect, that primal, that instinctual, that wildness that just wants to consume, and that will to consume, to destroy, is the power of creation. And without the will to own, to attach, to desire, there's nothing moves. There's no movement. Yeah, the masculine is only moving because Lilith is pulling out the whip. Like, without the whip in the background, you can't see the whip. It's invisible. You don't see you're being whipped every single day. Your subconscious mind is trying to whip you, Your ego is trying to whip you, and then Lilith says, wait a second, my ego needs to get some whipping. I'm not the one being whooped here. So this is kind of funny. And of course, you deal with Saturn, you have to go through Saturn. You have to go through, oh my goodness, I really am trapped in this body, and I need to manifest my will through it. How do I do that? Well, first of all, I have to realize everybody's will, the world has its own will. Nature has its will. Nature has plans for you, and those plans for you are trauma, conditioning, society, culture, family. That's nature's plan. And the left says, I don't think so. The patriarchal control system. That's why you need to connect to Lilith for many reasons. And yeah, people don't want to, because we live in an avoidant society. Everybody's avoiding intense emotions. That's what Lilith creates. That's how Lilith creates. Through energy in motion. And that's what people are avoiding. Like, what? Really? Ridiculous, of course. Ridiculous, but humans aren't rational. So anyways, I hope you liked this video and you enjoyed this interpretation for the solar eclipse. If you are interested in a personal reading, one-on-one, I do very in-depth professional natal chart readings. You can check out my services in my photo album section or my description down below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you like to book a personal reading, you can message me at any given time. If you like this, please leave a subscribe and a like to help my algorithm so more people can see this video. And if you like to see more videos in the future, if you like it, it will be more likely to be recommended to you as soon as I come online. That being said, I hope you have a great eclipse and see you in the next video.